You're listening to the Kim D. Snyder Show, episode number 038. In this episode, you will discover remote training strategies.
Welcome to the Kim D. Snyder Podcast.
Welcome. I'm your host, Kim. This show is for business leaders to stay ahead, successful, and happy. If for show notes, go to kimdsnyder.com/038. If you're interested in having me work with your leaders in your organization, go to kimdsnyder.com/inquire. Let's get this party started. And this party started a few years ago when I watched organizations roll out training, and it came up again recently. And so I thought I would address some of the common mistakes I see so that you understand how to start training in a remote, virtual, disparate organization, right? So we are in COVID right now, but, remote work is going to be changing and has changed, and we're getting a lot more of it. And we're also going to more of a gig economy. So we'll be hiring on a lot more remote workers. And so this will be really helpful to make sure you have these things in place and to consider before you start rolling this out to your organization and your team. So, and this can just be like team training, or it could be company-wide. Okay, so number one, let the attendees know the changes and why the need for the training. So is it a new system? Is it new functionality, new update, change in permissions, whatever? Let them know. In this particular case, this organization was rolling out a new website that had more functionality for the employees. They were giving a call to small groups of employees. So let's just say there was 300 employees. They were doing about 20 calls. Number two is let the attendees know the timeline for everybody or whatever is relevant. So for example, this particular case, they were rolling out the website and they were giving leaders access to it first, and then they were giving the general population access. And so let them know, because that was like a month between, so that they can plan and properly, make sure that their employees are notified. Also let the attendees know if this was tested, the input or if the input was received from the peers. And so in this case, I don't think it was. It was pretty clear when it rolled out. And so I heard, from some of the end users that it was quite frustrating, because this is stuff that could have been taken care of with some test users. So you don't want your users to be frustrated. You don't want to give them any excuse to be frustrated and unengaged. So the other thing is, training now really doesn't need to be live unless it's super technical. And the way that you can handle that is you can actually create it and pre-record it and then send it out. And send it out, I mean, put it on a shared drive and let people access it when they have time, right? So because you've got a virtual team, they probably have different hours. And you'll have core hours, but at least, somebody can watch it when they have free time or between calls or between workload. And so if you send it out ahead of time, they can watch it at their leisure. What you can do is you can create a Q&A session or office hours, whatever you want to call it, to handle those questions that come up. Now, this also depends on the type of training that you're doing. Like if you're rolling out an enterprise system, you might have to rethink this a little bit and maybe break it into smaller components, or go ahead and do the training live so people can answer more questions. But, you would be surprised. You could probably use this technique for most of the training going forward, right? So these are definitely some best practices for training of remote employees. And I've done training for quite a few years. I don't care if you call it training, instruction, professional development. It's all the same. Okay. What do you do when you have different skill sets of users that are getting this training? Well, there's a few ways to handle this. And so, if it doesn't matter if it's technical, non-technical, it doesn't matter if they know the product, don't know the product, whatever that is, doesn't always have to be technical. It could be just, something offline. It doesn't always have to be online. And so, so provide written and video format, right? So we talked about doing a recording, so you're going to send that video recording out, but make sure you provide written documentation. The best format for people to learn is video, audio, and then actually doing it, so kinesthetic. So, the written format doesn't matter if it's Word, PowerPoint, whatever. If it's kind of a workbook format, doesn't matter. I would definitely send out something that supplements the video training so they can go along. Or if you have people that like to skip ahead, again, the higher skilled people, they can look ahead and see what they need to do. I would also include a one-page summary or cheat sheet. And, it could be one page, half a page, whatever. So if it's a system to log into, if it's an address to go to, whatever that is, put the pertinent information that they need. So after they go through the training, that they're sort of familiar, this will tell them what they need to just quickly. Keep the training shorter for multiple reasons. One, our attention span has gone down quite a bit. And two, people want to feel like they accomplished something. And so, rather than doing a 25 or 30-minute video, you could break that down into 4 or 5 4-minute videos, and people will, get something done and accomplished, and they'll be happy. You'll keep their attention span, and they'll actually tend to absorb it more because it's 4 minutes. If they know it's like 14 or 24 minutes, they might start wavering. So keeping it shorter is much better. If you don't have an LMS or a learning management system, then this is also a quick and dirty way to have the users track which videos they've done. If you have a learning management system, that will keep track of it for you. Let people self-select which sessions they're going to go to based on their skills or the timing. So again, if it's a technical or non-technical or a different skill set, let them self-select. So send out the schedule and, let them try it and let them know there's office hours so if they have questions. And if you get a lot of questions, then you can actually just go ahead and do a training as well. And then timing, because people are in different time zones, and depending on the core hours, people might have it outside of those core hours, and so you have to make sure you have multiple times to support those. Also keep in mind that people will be accessing this through multiple devices, assuming your organization allows that. So make sure that they can, get through their laptop, their tablet, or their phone, which is really helpful because if they're short, they can grab 3 to 5 minutes or whatever the video length is when they're, between calls, at lunch, whatever it is, standing outside, even on the way into work on a commute, right? They could listen. So right now with COVID, it might be hard, but when things pick up, depending what they're doing, they can do it on a commute if they need to go pick their kids up or whatever. So, and there are other criteria for training. I didn't cover them because they're not as relevant right now. I mean, this is quick and dirty. How do you deal with, training employees virtually? What are those best practices? But, other criteria would be LMS, which we talked about, learning management systems. Do you need to have some sort of certification or certificate? Do you need to do some quizzing before, after, or during? Do you need to do assessments before and after to see the learning level? But these are some quick and dirty ways about really just rolling out that training to remote workers. 2 action items on this one, and one of them is if you have any new training, I would say determine which of these components you need to update before you roll it out. And the second action item is if you have an existing training, go back and look at maybe the most popular ones and see if you need to do any adjustments, or maybe even looking at the least popular ones because maybe they're least popular because they're really too long or they're breaking some of these rules, and maybe it's really easy to do a quick fix to get those updated, and maybe the least popular will be the more popular. The show notes for this episode can be reached at kimdsnyder.com/038. Thank you for listening, and if you leave a review on iTunes, it will help reach more leaders that can use this information. If you're looking for help for leaders in your organization, let's talk. Go to kimdsnyder.com/inquire. See you on the next episode.